stuff.
Hello from Volterra.
Volterra lies in the rolling hill country southeast of Camp Darby. The drive is about an hour and a half. People have lived in Volterra since the 6th century BC. Like most old cities in this region, Volterra sits on top of a hill. A great strategy for troops defending the city, not so great for moms pushing the strollers. The city rewards Erica and Chris for their troubles with streets full of shopping. Shopping in Tuscany always includes great art and wine, but what sets Volterra apart is alabaster. It's a funny word. Say it with just the right inflection and it sounds insulting. Alabaster. Actually, it's a soft, chalky white mineral, and the craftsmen of Volterra can carve alabaster into just about anything or anybody.
This is the biggest smile ever.
That's the biggest smile ever? You can't smile bigger than that? Come on, try it. There you go. Sightseeing is overrated. I'm into sight finding, where everyone finds something just for them. Erica loves tiny churches and found one in Volterra. She says she had nothing to do with the broken window. Rob wandered upon a showroom of alabaster chessboards and took home a souvenir made for a king. Chris found her dream table. It also has a chessboard in it.
It's all Italian inlaid marble.
She couldn't afford to buy it, but she found it. Yay. Colin found a playground with a slide, and Jillian found a fortress with a big front yard. And I found theater, a 2,000-year-old Roman theater. Good seats are still available. You're rolling. What do you want to say about this thing?
Here we are in downtown ancient Volterra, where actors used to have plays way back in the ancient days.
What kind of plays do you think they saw here?
Well, Shakespeare wasn't quite born then, so probably ancient Greek plays. Sorry.
We arranged our day in Volterra, but Camp Darby's Tours and More offers regular trips to Volterra and nearby San Gimignano during the summer. No matter how you arrange your trip, you'll find Volterra as a city you can jump into head first. For Destinations, I'm Sergeant Mike Wetzel.
Did you get that one, Mike? Normandy, France is known for its role in the D-Day invasion during the Second World War, but what gets cast out of the limelight not far from the beaches is one of France's most popular tourist attractions, Mont Saint Michel. Army Private Aubrey Pomeres made a pilgrimage to the historic abbey on the rock and has this report.
Trying to imagine Mont Saint Michel before anything was built on it seems impossible. According to legend, an enormous tidal wave swept over the entire area in the early 8th century, forming the huge granite rock. Around the same time, Aubrey, the Bishop of AFRTS, had a strange dream. He had visions of St. Michael telling him to dedicate the newly created rock to him and make it a place of worship. Aubrey thought it was just his imagination, but when St. Michael became impatient and poked a hole in the bishop's skull, he knew it was for real, and he built the sanctuary. It began as a small temple built on a cave. People from all over would come to pray, and many miracles were said to have happened here.
It's really incredible to see how it perches on this rock, and all the little alleyways and little hiding places. You just think of all sorts of magical things that must have happened here, and oh, maybe it's haunted.
Maybe it is haunted, but it's still the second most visited place in France, after the Eiffel Tower, of course. The hundreds of steps to the top reach almost 500 feet. The abbey was once a home to 30 monks. During the French Revolution, it became a prison, and today its main business is tourism. Less than 1% of the visitors come to Mont Saint Michel for religious reasons, and instead to see beautiful architecture of the citadel, to shop for souvenirs and antiques, and maybe even try a world-famous omelet. So even if you aren't willing to climb to the top of the church, there's plenty to do, and there is a beautiful view of the abbey from the ground. From Normandy, France, Army Private Aubrey Pomeres, AFN News.
None of us will ever forget this day. Yet we go forward to defend freedom and all that is good and just in our world.
Even though it was a gorgeous, beautiful day, it had this somber strangeness to it.
The scene here in Somerset County, Pennsylvania is still very busy tonight.
The first 2 years of your child's life is the optimum time for language development. Reading to your child for 15 minutes a day is a great way to develop your child's language skills.
The boss program plans trips, especially for the soldiers. We like to, just get out and have some fun, let these guys let loose. I think BUS is a good program. You get to go places. It brings people to you.
Thanks for staying with us on Destinations. The United States hauled in a record number of medals at the Salt Lake Winter Games this past February. Some of the medalists from those games actually wear the Army uniform when they're not competing. Army Sergeant Scott Malone sat down to talk with one of those soldiers who also is a bronze medalist.
We're joined today with Specialist Michael Kahn, a member of the Army's world-class athlete program, and Specialist Kahn, also a recent bronze medalist at the Winter Olympic Games this past February in Salt Lake City. Congratulations, first of all, on winning that bronze medal. And first of all, tell us, how did you get involved as a soldier with bobsledding?
Well, thanks for the congratulatory remarks, first of all. Second of all, as far as getting involved with the Army and bobsledding, I've been involved with bobsledding since 1990, right out of high school. I started training throughout the 90s, trying to make the Olympic teams. Couldn't do it, didn't have the funding, the backing, the resources available. In 1999, following the 98 Olympics, I joined the Army. This was kind of a way for me to combine both goals in life I had of going to the Olympics and joining the Army. There's a program, the World Class Athlete Program, which you mentioned, that supports athletes in pursuit of Olympic goals, and that was, for me, a good mix. So I've been involved ever since. They've been very supportive, and honestly, without them, I would not have made the Olympic team, much less have won a medal.
Well, let's talk about Salt Lake City. You were on the USA 2 bobsled team. There's 2 teams in that event, and you guys snuck up on the second day of the competition and came away with the bronze medal. What's it like being a medalist at the Olympics?
I don't know if words can justify that. I've always said the worst thing you can ask an Olympic medalist is what does it feel like to win an Olympic medal? Putting that into words is very, very difficult, but I guess to sum it up, it was the greatest moment of my life.
486 in the last heat from what we've been seeing in the start track up here.
Especially after September 11th, being in Salt Lake City, USA, competing in a sport I've been involved with for 12 years, with my friends, my family there.
Typifies the way Scheimer's been driving the Bodine sled. And he has had the
representing the USA.
The entire competition. Only disaster could cost the United States this medal.
It doesn't get any better than that.
Keep in mind that Scheimer may not be the medal winner in 4th place, but if he is in 1st place here at the finish, the drought is over. It's over!
How do you balance your career in the military with your athletic career?
Well, it's tough. We're allowed to train for our sport for 3 out of the 4 years of the quadrennium leading up to the next Olympics. The next year, you have to fulfill your military obligations, which is what I'll do this year. Recently has been a lot of traveling around, handshaking, and kind of meeting the soldiers out in the field and promoting the world-class athlete program and getting exposure for the Army at different military installations around the world.
What's that been like? You're on this trip in Europe now. You've actually, this is just one stop on the trip. You were in parts of Asia as well, Afghanistan, other places abroad. What's it been like?
A lot of traveling. Hasn't been much different than bobsledding, to be honest with you. We travel a lot in our sport, so I'm looking forward to settling down at some point in time here. But I got to say the most moving experience I've had so far was going to Afghanistan and visiting the troops there at Kandahar. It was impressive to see those guys and girls out there, those soldiers representing us in that those extreme conditions. It was just, it was awesome.
Well, we're appreciative of your visit here. Now, what's next for you? Are we going to see you continuing on in bobsledding? Are we going to see you in Torino in 2006?
Yeah, I'm moving up to the driver's seat. I've been a push athlete on the sled now for about, well, I guess 12 years. It's time for me to move up to the driver's seat. I started driving a few years back, and I went back to pushing because I knew my best chance at making the Olympic team was as a push athlete, and now I'll start driving. I'm looking to put a team together, so I'm recruiting athletes, soldiers, anyone interested in representing our country in the Olympic Games.
Losing more time! Around the finish, will the USA win 2 medals? Yes!
Specialist Michael Kane, world-class athlete member from the Army, and also a bronze medalist at the Winter Olympics. Thanks very much for joining us.
My pleasure.
Relax. There's nothing wrong with your television or the signal. I'm just here to give a message to all AFN decoder users. If you bought your decoder from someone, or your DROS has changed, make sure you re-register it. If you don't, I'll be seeing you again, probably in the middle of one of your favorite AFN programs. I'll tell you once more. If you bought your decoder from someone, or your DROS has changed, re-register it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. AFRC is paying homage to summer with Summer Seafest at Lake Kimsey Resort August 17th. Spend a summer day enjoying games, prizes, beach volleyball, music, the lake, and an all-American barbecue.
Booking official U.S. Army Europe or leisure travel has never been so easy. Log on to www.saitotravel.com/user and book your vacation or official travel via the net. No waiting, no lines. When there's a mission to accomplish, your time is essential. www.saitotravel.com/user allows you to reserve leisure or official travel from anywhere in Europe 24 hours a day.
Don't miss out. Visit School Aid Services to check out what they offer.
It's a popular destination that lies on the westernmost border of the European continent. It's home to famous historical figures like Vasco da Gama. And as Navy journalist Paul Cage reports from a recent trip with the Naples MWR Liberty program, Lisbon is a capital city with a lot to offer.
This is a whimsical city. It demands to be seen in detail. It's a proud city, set on the banks of the River Tagus. It's illuminating, intriguing, and lively. You can smell the sea in the air. This is Lisbon, Portugal. Based in the world that at one time belonged to it, is open to discovery. In the 15th and 16th century, great sailing fleets left the security of Lisbon in the quest to discover the New World. This rich colonial past is evident in the suburb of Belém, where you will find the city's most important monuments, such as the White Stone Tower of Belém. The tower was built in the early 16th century to defend the river and was the last thing that the seafaring adventurers saw before setting out on their epic adventures. The tower is also an excellent example of the Manueline style of architecture that features naval motifs. Another fine example of the Manueline style is the Monastery of Jerome. This 16th century monastery is one of the few surviving examples of medieval Manueline architecture and is listed as a United Nations Heritage Site. Mass is still held inside the church, where you will find the symbolic burial place of Vasco da Gama, the country's greatest maritime hero, and the nation's most famous writer, Luis de Camões. Now, Lisbon's a city that demands strolling around its unique neighborhoods, notably Alfama. This neighborhood was the only one to survive the 1755 earthquake that destroyed the rest of the city. Here, the streets are small, as they've been for centuries, all the way back to the time of the Moors. Life here in Alfama crawls slowly forward, as the rest of Lisbon hustles and bustles. In the easternmost part of Lisbon is the site of the successful World Expo 98. The site is now a multi-purpose area with a collage of tourist attractions and walkways. Pay a visit to the Torre de Vasco da Gama, the site's landmark tower. It has an observation deck and restaurant. And make sure to visit the Oceanario, one of the world's largest oceanariums, and one of the city's most popular attractions. If you like to shop, there's the Vasco da Gama Mall, and if you want to see a concert or sporting event, then check out the Atlantico Pavilion. But to truly appreciate the site, hop on the waterside cable cars that connects the tower and the oceanarium and offers an excellent view over the site. Lisbon, a cosmopolitan spectacle tucked away in an old-world atmosphere. Leave all your predispositions behind and visit this European capital that is like no other. From Lisbon, Portugal, courtesy of MWR's Liberty Program, I'm Paul Cage.
Well, that wraps up another edition of Destinations. If you like what you see and have a great idea for a story near you, all you have to do is get in touch with us. The best way to do that is to drop us an email. Our email address is destinations@afn.frankfurt.army.mil. We'd love to hear from you. It's also a great way to drop us a comment about the show. Thanks for joining us this week. I'm your host each and every week, Kane Farabaugh.